What if I told you that the most notorious digital landscape on Earth was absolutely not constructed by a shadowy syndicate of rogue hackers, but engineered entirely by the mathematical researchers of the military, specifically designed to transmit classified intelligence across the globe? Welcome to money's hidden past. Rich people lied. We fact-checked. Today we are stripping down the mechanical architecture of the dark web and exposing exactly how a military protocol birthed an untraceable economy. When the mainstream media discusses digital privacy and cybercrime, they constantly conflate the deep web with the dark web, creating a public misunderstanding of network architecture and failing to recognize the structural differences between the two. The deep web is simply the unindexed infrastructure of the internet, accounting for roughly 90% of the entire digital ecosystem. It includes your private email inbox and your corporate banking portal, and every database that requires a baseline password to access. You interact with the deep web every single day. Using standard browsers, it is a perfectly legal and mundane structural necessity that prevents strangers from querying your personal financial data. Using standard commercial indexing algorithms like Google, if the deep web suddenly became indexed by the public search engines, the modern digital economy would instantly and violently collapse, because your medical records and your proprietary legal documents would be freely searchable by anyone with an internet connection. The dark web is an entirely different technological entity, representing a microscopic fraction of the total digital landscape, specifically engineered to permanently obscure the identity of the user and requiring specialized encryption software to successfully access it, is the digital frontier where whistleblower drop sites operate, where political dissidents communicate under oppressive regimes, and where massive unregulated underground marketplaces thrive. Completely invisible to the traditional digital tracking algorithms, the dark web requires you to abandon traditional routing protocols. You cannot type a standard web address into a commercial browser. You must utilize specific routing software to access hidden services, which utilize an alphanumeric domain structure ending in onion. These hidden services operate without a centralized internet registry, meaning the physical server hosting the illicit marketplace is completely shielded behind layers of cryptographic encryption, making it mathematically impossible to identify the host location. The absolute most fascinating reality of this hidden ecosystem is that it was completely funded and engineered by the government. In the mid-1990s, the Naval Research Laboratory recognized a problem the military desperately needed: a secure methodology to transmit intelligence they needed to send data across the vulnerable public internet infrastructure without foreign adversaries intercepting or tracing the communication. Computer. Scientists like Paul Syverson and Michael Reed were officially tasked with solving this massive structural vulnerability. They mathematically engineered a revolutionary communication protocol officially designated within the intelligence community as onion routing traditional internet traffic travels in a direct and easily traceable line, exposing the exact physical location of the sender and the receiver. But the onion routing protocol encrypts the data in multiple layers and bounces the signal randomly across a massive global network of servers. Each specific server only possesses enough mathematical decryption key to peel back a single layer of the encryption and reveal the next destination. No individual node in the entire network chain knows both the original source and the final destination of the data. In the early 2000s, the military released the alpha version of Tor, but the intelligence agencies quickly realized a fatal operational flaw if the only people using this highly advanced cryptographic network were American military personnel and covert intelligence operatives. Then the act of connecting to the onion network would operate exactly like a neon sign pointing to a spy. It would be incredibly easy for foreign adversaries to monitor the traffic and instantly identify the covert agents operating within their borders to completely solve this structural operational vulnerability. The government made the software completely open source. They intentionally released military-grade encryption to the general public to successfully camouflage their spies inside a massive civilian crowd. They needed ordinary citizens and journalists and privacy advocates to flood the network with random mundane digital traffic, creating a massive haystack of encrypted data to safely hide their needles and permanently securing the communication lines of the intelligence apparatus. But for the first entire decade of its existence, the dark web was purely informational. It served as a communication network, but it lacked a functioning economy. Traditional fiat payments require central banks and verified identities, leaving a permanent, unalterable paper trail directly to the individuals involved. If a user attempted to purchase an illicit digital asset on the encrypted network, they were mathematically forced to use a traditional credit card. This immediately stripped away the physical anonymity provided by the software, exposing their exact identity to global law enforcement agencies. The dark web remained a barren commercial wasteland until the year 2009, when a separate technology emerged, an anonymous cryptographic breakthrough known as the Bitcoin network. introduced the concept of decentralized borderless digital value transfer. Bitcoin functioned exactly like digital physical cash. It completely eliminated the need for a central banking authority. It did not require a verified legal name or a physical home address, requiring absolutely nothing but an alphanumeric digital wallet string. This cryptographic asset served as the ultimate missing puzzle piece, and in the year 2011, an ambitious user took action. Ross Ulbricht successfully merged the physical anonymity of the military routing network with the financial utility of the decentralized digital currency, launching a hidden website officially known as the Silk Road, and single-handedly birthing a multi-million-dollar underground digital economy. The Silk Road proved that trustless peer-to-peer black markets could scale utilizing basic escrow systems and decentralized digital currency to facilitate the seamless global trade of contraband and digital goods, transforming the military communication tool into an unregulated bazaar. Ulbricht completely understood that anonymous buyers and anonymous sellers would never inherently trust each other in a digital transaction. So the Silk Road implemented a highly structured decentralized escrow system, where the platform acts as the temporary neutral custodian of the capital. When a buyer purchases an illicit digital product or physical asset, they deposit their decentralized cryptocurrency directly into the platform, escrow locking the funds mathematically until the product arrives, or the digital data is successfully transferred and verified once the buyer confirms the receipt of the illicit product. The platform officially releases the decentralized capital to the vendor, extracting a lucrative percentage fee for facilitating the transaction and operating the digital black market exactly like a corporate monopoly. Vendors utilize highly advanced operational security protocols to survive encrypting every single message using public key cryptography, ensuring that even if the central marketplace servers are compromised, the law enforcement agencies cannot read the individual communication logs. The dark web completely transitioned from a quiet refuge for whistleblowers into an aggressive commercial arena generating billions of dollars in volume. But the dark web economy built heavily upon the foundation of Bitcoin possessed a massive structural and fundamental vulnerability, a fatal flaw that the early pioneers completely failed to understand, specifically the unyielding transparency of the public blockchain ledger. Early users mistakenly believed that Bitcoin provided absolute anonymity, assuming their illicit financial transactions were completely invisible to the state. But the mathematics of the public ledger operate exactly in reverse. Every single Bitcoin transaction ever executed in human history is permanently and immutably recorded on a completely public digital database visible to every single human being and government agency on the planet, creating the most robust and traceable financial surveillance network ever built. Over the last decade, international law enforcement agencies evolved, deploying highly sophisticated blockchain forensic tracking algorithms to map the history of the ledger and track the illicit capital. They slowly follow the digital money across thousands of interconnected wallets. When a dark web user eventually attempts to convert their Bitcoin into fiat currency, they are inevitably forced to interact with a centralized commercial exchange, where they must surrender their government identification to satisfy compliance. This instantly ties their real-world identity to years of illicit digital transactions. Federal agencies retroactively utilize this permanent public record to successfully prosecute thousands of dark web vendors and market operators, proving that utilizing a transparent public ledger is a mathematical trap. It is mathematically equivalent to publishing your bank statements on the internet. The international law enforcement agencies recognize the structural threat, and they execute massive coordinated global sting operations, seizing the physical servers hosting the decentralized Darknet platforms. But the dark web economy operates on a decentralized Hydra model the exact moment a massive marketplace is seized and completely dismantled. Thousands of displaced vendors and eager retail consumers immediately migrate their operations to a highly secure competing platform. Because of this undeniable structural surveillance reality, the modern dark web economy completely evolved past the original digital asset. While Bitcoin remains utilized due to its massive global liquidity, the sophisticated underground operators demanded actual mathematical invisibility. The darknet marketplaces aggressively shifted their economic infrastructure, mandating the use of highly specialized cryptographic privacy coins, specifically identifying digital assets like Monero and Zcash, which were mathematically engineered to completely break the forensic trail. These advanced privacy coins utilize stealth addresses and ring signatures, deliberately obscuring the identity of the sender and the receiver, and completely hiding the exact amount of capital transferred in the transaction, preventing any external observer from mapping the flow of digital money. In the current financial landscape of 2026, Monero absolutely dominates the underground digital economy, accounting for roughly 68% of all dark web marketplace transactions and becoming the exclusive required currency on massive modern platforms. A single Monero transaction bundles genuine inputs with multiple decoy inputs, making it statistically impossible for blockchain forensic software to accurately identify the true origin or the actual destination of the capital, completely severing the digital link between the buyer and the marketplace. By utilizing stealth addresses, the privacy coin automatically generates a completely unique one-time destination wallet for every single transaction, ensuring that the recipient address never actually repeats on the chain, and completely destroying the ability to build a historical financial profile. These specific assets offer the true financial invisibility that the early pioneers mistakenly believed the original protocol provided, creating a highly resilient underground economy that completely resists surveillance and forces global regulators into an unwinnable technological arms race. The existence of a completely untraceable parallel financial system represents the ultimate existential threat to sovereign government authority, because the foundation of state power relies entirely on taxation and the ability to monitor the capital flows of the domestic population. This creates a profound and undeniable structural irony. The exact same mathematical encryption protocol designed by the military to completely secure the communication lines of their global intelligence assets is now actively protecting the financial transactions of global syndicates. The military effectively weaponized mathematics to hide their own operations and intentionally handed that weapon directly to the civilian population, creating a decentralized ecosystem that no sovereign entity can ever turn off. Because the servers powering the network are distributed across the globe, the modern Darknet market is a sophisticated corporate operation utilizing decentralized infrastructure and advanced cryptographic privacy to execute billions of dollars in global commerce completely in the shadows, proving that code will always outpace government regulation. If this breakdown of the dark web and the onion routing protocol and the dark math behind untraceable cryptocurrency fired you up about taking total control of your permanent financial architecture, then do me a favor. Right now, smash that like button to let the algorithm know this factual, historical conversation matters. Share this video with every friend and family member who needs to understand how the real financial world operates. Let us keep exposing the true mechanics of wealth and power. I will catch you in the next one, where we break down the next hidden chapter in the long history of money and corporate authority. Until then, stay informed, stay skeptical, and remember that the most dangerous tools in the modern global economy are almost always engineered and funded by the very institutions trying to stop them.